Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a very special masterclass with Ritu Java, who's going to share with you the 5 game-changing opportunities with Amazon PPC. Ritu, how's it going?
Hey Gary, how are you? Pretty good here.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so excited to have you on to talk about PPC. I know that this is one of the biggest pain points for a lot of sellers all over the world. So I'm super excited that you're going to be giving us the top 5 game-changing opportunities with Amazon PPC. Before we get started, I'm curious, where are you joining us from today?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I am based in Vancouver, Canada. So this is on the Pacific side of North America, and it is 6 p.m. in the evening here. And I know Gary, you're at 9 a.m. So we're like different ends of the globe. But I used to live where Gary is right now. I lived there for 17 years, and here I am, the other side of the globe. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
super excited to be here with you and everyone else in the audience today talking about PPC.
Yes, welcome, welcome, Ritu. It's great to have you all the way from Canada. And as Ritu mentioned, I am in Japan. You can kind of see like the screen background. We're actually coming in from an Airbnb. We're kind of on a spring break here with family, but I'm super excited to have this training with Ritu. So before we get started, because we are live, everyone, if you can see and hear us, can you please type your name and where you're joining us from? I see some people already know the routine. They've already gone ahead and done that. So while you're doing that, a quick intro of Ritu for those of you guys that don't know her. So Ritu Java is the CEO of PPC Ninja. And then she helps 6, 7, and 8-figure Amazon sellers really maximize their results in PPC through creative advertising. Okay. And she's also helped me personally with a lot of my own Amazon PPC campaigns where we're seeing a lot of positive results. So I really wanted to bring her on to kind of unlock some of these game-changing opportunities for you guys today. All right. And then if you do stick around until the end, we'll have a special bonus for you guys that joined us live on the webinar. All right. So before we get started, I'd just like to quickly give some quick shout outs to people joining us. So welcome Elizabeth, Katie from Oregon, Tara from Ohio, Gary from NYC. I learned so much from these webinars. Awesome. I'm super excited to hear that. Pachedu, going to be awesome. Ritu Java from PPC Ninja is the best. Great. You have some fans, Ritu. Jackie from New Zealand. Trone is here. Pachedu from Brisbane. G'day. Katie is here. Ron from the Midwest. Tidroy from Raleigh. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your names. Mahesh from Melbourne. Trone from Virginia. Elizabeth from Texas, Allison, welcome from Auckland, New Zealand, Ray from San Antonio, Malcolm from New Zealand, Derek from Calgary, Elizabeth from Texas, and Vandana from Randana is here. The names is coming too fast for me to even keep up and read. Rose from Melbourne, Eric from Hawaii, aloha. Ali from Canada, Jonathan says, Ritu, you rock. Kyla from Kansas City, Munwa, welcome from Illinois, and Audrey from New Mexico. Excellent. So we have a pretty global audience today, and then Jason from San Diego as well. Perfect. All right. So I'm super excited to have everybody here today. And Ritu, before we begin, could you share with us for the presentation, for the training today, who is this for?
Yeah, so today's presentation is primarily for anyone who feels intimidated by PPC. Let's just put it that way. Because I think there's always so much to learn. There's new ad types being rolled out. Every month we have, changes being made by Amazon, things that are thrown upon us. And I think that the sentiment that I could gather from you guys' survey responses is that PPC is scary. So, My goal is to make it not scary. So I'm going to try my best to kind of break any kind of apprehensions about using PPC in a positive way, and kind of try to erase some of the fears that you guys have around, maybe overspending or like, hemorrhaging through your budgets and all that stuff. So I'll just try to highlight the opportunity more than anything else. And so, yeah, I think if you're afraid of PPC, this one is for you.
Excellent, excellent. And I know that you guys submitted a lot of great questions before the training as well, and I shared them all with Ritu. We won't have a chance to go through all of the questions, but Ritu picked about the top 7 questions that she's going to highlight towards the end of her presentation. So make sure to stick around for that. And I think if we have some time at the end, we'll also answer some questions live as well. All right. So without further ado, Ritu, would you like to share your slides and we'll start the show?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So
and you're right. PPC is scary. I see some comments in the chat. Wendy says, I am afraid of PPC. So hopefully we can help debunk some of those scary myths about PPC. All right.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I guess before I even get into the content, maybe I can just give you a little bit of background about how I got into the space and why I kind of get excited by PPC and not intimidated. I started my online journey, my online e-commerce journey as an Etsy seller, like almost 10 plus years ago. And I realized pretty quickly that, just having a great product isn't enough, because there's so much that goes into promoting it, so much that goes into gaining any kind of visibility, that, you almost get sucked into, all the different aspects of promotion, right? Whether it's like the way you present your products, the way you do your product photography, what kind of videos how you describe the products. There's so many aspects to it. So I started with my Etsy store, and then I wanted to learn more. So I got myself into marketing. I taught myself product photography, did all of that stuff. And then finally, I decided that I wanted to solidify my understanding through data. So I went to the US to study, and I did a course a year-long course there in data science. And then after that, I kind of encountered Amazon advertising, and there's been absolutely no looking back ever since. Like, I've just felt more and more excited about it and about the opportunities that are available to sellers. And I want to kind of impart that excitement to you guys so that you can also see it in the same way. I know it's a little hard to kind of go from hate to love, but I do want to try to make that transition for you guys a little bit. So we're going to talk about some opportunities. So 5 game-changing opportunities with Amazon PPC. So I picked this title primarily because of the fact that there are game-changing aspects to PPC that if you can get, then you can rise above the regular, or above the crowd in a sense, because most people are focusing on PPC in a certain particular way. And that way is just causing them more and more frustration. It's making them feel desperate and helpless and giving up on it. So I want to highlight the opportunities that you have. And first of all, I'm just going to summarize the 5 of them, and then we will take them one at a time. So here are the 5 that I want to highlight today. So with PPC, you can actually mimic the big fish. And what I mean by that is that, when you as a small seller enter a market, you will see plenty of competition. Like, I don't know any niche that is free of competition. I don't see any keyword that won't show up like a page full of similar items, right? Everything looks the same, So you have an opportunity here, because although the space is really competitive, and there's so many different kind of slight tweaks that everything is coming, of course, from the factories, right? And so there is plenty of sellers on every single type of product. but you have an opportunity to kind of mimic an established brand. And there are ways to do that that will, go to your advantage. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. The second thing you can do is to ride on your competitors' success. And it's just a different way of looking at it. But if you can identify your top competitors in any field, you can actually ride on their success, because if they're getting the most traffic, there are certain ad types that you can leverage to kind of be wherever they are, right? You can place ads on their pages, right? You can follow them around wherever they are showing up. So this is great because we didn't have this opportunity earlier. Like when Amazon started advertising, we had only access to like auto campaigns and manual campaigns for keyword targeting. So I guess that's where all the hype around keyword-based, the keyword-based focus kind of started. But then slowly Amazon started adding more and more products as in advertising products to their line of advertising. And people still kind of remained in that or stayed in that old mindset of I've got to rank for keywords, I've got to rank on page one. That just became the main kind of focus for everyone. And what most people don't realize is that that's where everybody's looking. So you've got to find different ways of being competitive and not just focus on like a keyword based approach. And of course, keywords are the most important, but we'll try to see how we can ride on competitor success and really supersede them in many ways. The third opportunity is the opportunity to diversify so that you can maximize your visibility. No longer do you need to focus on, showing up just on page one, right? Page one, of course, has the maximum visibility because it has, most of the sales happen on page one, right? But you can use many different ad types to show up on page one without it being a keyword-based war. Like you don't have to go against your competitors, just bidding on the same keyword and bidding up each other, out, right? So there's other ways to do it that we'll talk about. Then the fourth one is, this amazing ability we have that we probably don't realize is that we have the ability to train the algorithm, right? We might think that we're helpless creatures, we're at the mercy of the algorithm, but there are many ways that we can actually guide the algorithm, and we can kind of influence it through the choices that we make with our advertising. So I think that's a big kind of opportunity that, if you can get it, then, it will kind of start to all make sense. And then the fifth one that I want to mention is that you have the opportunity to leverage the data, right? We have more data than that we can even handle. We've got so much data. There are like 25 different types of ad reports that Amazon gives us. We have business reports that we get. We have other tools that we use. We use the Helium 10s and the Jungle Scouts and the Merchant Words, and we track data in so many different ways. Now it's time to kind of stitch them all together, make sense of that story of, that the data is kind of telling you. And if you can do that, then it's a huge opportunity that kind of puts you way ahead of your competitors, right? So that's kind of the summary of the 5 big opportunities. And now I'm going to dive into each one of them. So let's look at the first one, which is mimicking the big fish. This is a brand that came about just about a year and a half ago, right? And they have a very strong presence on Amazon. They have a very nice storefront. They have many different products, and they also have they're running their ads really well because they've kind of defended their brand. Wherever you go, you kind of see them. And this was, like I said, this was pretty recent. It's just been a year and a half for this company to have existed, and they kind of rose to the top by simply mimicking the big fish. Most of us have, access to the same tools that they have. I mean, as long as you're brand registered, which I hope that you will work towards, because even if you're not brand registered, you can kind of get into brand registry pretty quickly if you are. If you have a trademark pending. So now things are much easier for people to sign up for brand registry. I really recommend that you go down that path, because if you do, then you unlock a lot of opportunities with mimicking the big fish, because you can be everywhere and you can come across as being larger than you actually might be, right? So nothing is stopping you. It becomes a level playing field for every competitor, and you can just use great photography, great imagery, and showcase your brand in different ways. So let me show you this brand, and so this is what the brand looks like, right? This is one of their products. If I scroll down, notice how they've made use of these bundles, right? And they've kind of taken over the whole space. There's no place they've left for a competitor to kind of come in and steal the traffic. They're running 2 ads on their own products. You see this? This is a product that is probably so this one is $24.97, right? And this one, they are kind of, downselling for like a cheaper, just a single bamboo chopping board. And they're also running a sponsored display ad on their own listing. So they've kind of covered the space. Like you can't have a competitor entering the space because of how much real estate they have just grabbed. Now, if you look at this brand, would you think this is a small brand or a big brand? You'll obviously think, oh, they're an established seller, right? That's the impression you want to give. That's the impression you can give if you do a few different things, like making sure you have bundles, making sure you have ads running to your own product line, so that you kind of, do not allow any distracting competitors to come in between. By the way, they also have really good video ads. So this is a very good video ad that they have running. And again, this all goes into kind of showing how, established they are, right? Whether they are or they aren't is a different matter. The fact is that you have access to the same exact tools that a really established brand has. And it's just a matter of putting it all together. So the second opportunity that I see all the time is the ability to ride on your competitor's success. So this is what I captured on a Coca-Cola page. So it was one of the detail pages, a product detail page for a Coca-Cola can, I think it was. And below that, below the bullet points, I see 3 different ads, right? So the first ad I saw was Pepsi. Of course, Pepsi and Coke are always head to head. The second ad I see is of this company called Kululi, which I'm sure I hadn't heard of it. I don't know if you guys have, but it's just a kind of a newish brand, and they're promoting like mini fridges that sit on top of on your desk. So it's kind of not even a beverage, but because it's using the Coca-Cola sticker on the front, and they've just placed a can there, somehow they wanted to kind of target Coca-Cola fans, right? So they have positioned their ad on the Coca-Cola beverage detail page. And then there's this third one that is, again, I didn't know this brand, Poppy. I've never heard of it, but you know what they're doing? They are running category targeting or product targeting ads through sponsored brands. So as you know, you might have heard that, there's of course, there's category targeting ads, there's product targeting ads. You can run your ads on any page pretty much. But what most people don't realize is that you can access this type of targeting through every single ad type, which means you can run a product targeting ad through sponsored products, you can run it through sponsored brands, and you can run it through sponsored display. So 3 different ways of targeting your competitors, right? So if a no-name brand like Kululi or Poppy is rubbing shoulders with like a big brand like Pepsi, it just means that you can do it too, right? You can target the biggest brands in your space and just show up on their page. And that is a great way to kind of ride on their success, because if they are getting a ton of traffic, well, then you also get, by virtue of being on their page, you are as a secondary, as a secondary user, you are also getting the advantage of their traffic. So you absolutely want to maximize your category targeting ads. In fact, when I run campaigns, the two easiest campaigns that I always run, regardless of like how much time I have, I'm like, the first one that has to be run is the auto campaign. The second one that I have to run is a category targeting ad, because category targeting will make sure that my ad shows up on the entire category. So I'll let Amazon prioritize that, especially when I'm in a time crunch. I will first run the category targeting ad and then run product targeting ads, because the category targeting ad will guide me as to which ASINs actually converted, or which ASINs are actually driving traffic to my listing. And then I can use that secondary information to create manual or product targeting campaigns from that. So the bigger the brand, the easier it is for you to get tons of traffic simply by targeting them. So you can ride on their success by just showing up on their page. The third opportunity is for you to run many different types of ads, right? So it's not just about running a keyword-based ad. A keyword-based ad is highly competitive because everybody is focusing on keywords. Everybody knows that it's important to start ranking for keywords early enough. That's basically ingrained into our brains. Like, we're always worried more about keywords. But there's so many ad types. I have counted 30 plus ways of targeting anything on Amazon, right? Which basically means you can use all the different ad types in so many different ways that if you were to create very specific campaigns that target specific goals, then that number comes to more than 32 or 34 at this point. There's so many options available. So why wouldn't you diversify your ads, right? Why wouldn't you create more ads than less, right? And most people cling on to the less is better mentality, and they are they're afraid to kind of launch more campaigns because they think, and that's the biggest mistake they make, they think that more campaigns equals more money spent. It's not like that. You have to, of course, optimize your campaigns and manage your bids smartly. But more campaigns does not mean more spend. It just means that you have more opportunity because you're showing up in many different places. So here's an example of a video ad, right? It is taking up almost like 4 organic listings worth of space on page 1. What could be better than that? What could be better than such an eye-catching ad that takes up so much room on your main page? Yet I don't see people using the same approach for video ads as they do for regular ads. Do you see that? It's like, it shocks me every single time that you might have 500 keywords and you will create multiple sponsored product campaigns, maybe having small campaigns with maybe 20 to 30 keywords per campaign. They will put in all that effort into creating those keyword-based campaigns, but they will neglect to put those same keywords as video ads. Like video ads, you would have the same number of video ads as you would the regular ads, but that doesn't come across to people. So they're still focused on keyword-based advertising and are missing out on huge opportunities that could easily give you lots of low-hanging fruit. Did you know that video ads have a click-through rate that is 4 to 5 times more than a regular ad? It is like, we've measured so many, we look at so many accounts every day, and it's crazy how on an average, a click-through rate for a regular sponsored product ad is somewhere around 0.5%, which means 5 people in 1,000 will click on your ad. 5 people that see your ad will click on your ad. Whereas for video ads, that number is more in the range of 2%, which means 2 out of 100 people will click on your ad. And so video ads are great because they are doing a lot of the work that your listing does, right? Because what happens on your listing, you You have someone click into your listing and then they find out more details about it, like what are the benefits or what are the special unique qualities of this product, or they try to, fantasize themselves using it. So you're showing lifestyle photos. But guess what? With the video ad, you're bringing all of that up front. All of that conversion that you would do once they reach the listing, you've kind of brought that up front. You're making all of that of information available to them within a very short video ad that simply loops over and over again. So you're actually doing half the job that your listing would have done. And so that helps to boost conversion rates also, because only when someone likes your product the way it looks and feels in a video are they actually going to click into it. And that's how your conversion rate also gets affected positively through video ads. So definitely, consider expanding the diversity of your ad types so that you can get people's attention for cheaper even, right? You don't have to just focus on top of search type of ads. All right, next let's talk about the opportunity we have to train the algorithm. So I want to show this image because it kind of shows you visually how products are related to other products on Amazon. This used to be a really good tool that disappeared because something Amazon changed, made it not usable anymore. But I managed to take a screenshot when I was using it. I think it was a year and a half ago. It was called yaseeb.com. And so you could basically put in any keyword. So I put in throw in this image. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a throw right here in the center, towards the right. And this product will, or that keyword search will actually pull up the visual, the spatial visual of all the products that are related to that one product. So you know how when you go to Amazon and you get suggestions for frequently purchased together, or people who saw this product also viewed this product, etc., etc. So those are all kind of invisible connections between products that we don't see. When we're looking at our product, we don't see all of that. But Amazon knows all of that. And that's part of the algorithm. They know exactly which product is similar to which other product, how many hops away is one product type from another. And that's how their auto campaigns run, actually, right? Because they already know just from scanning your listing and the backend keywords and, what this product is. They've already figured out which other products might be a good fit to send traffic from, and so on. So these are all kind of hops between different products that are captured and just presented this way, but this is exactly how the algorithm works. Now, when we talk about training the algorithm, we're basically saying, hey, we can establish a connection between a certain keyword and our product, right? We do that through Amazon and PPC, and we do it through SEO as well. Like we make sure that the most important keywords are present on our title, in our bullet points, or in the back end somewhere on our listing, right? So we're kind of reinforcing the relationship or the relevancy of a certain keyword for our product, right? So that relevancy we're doing our best to establish through SEO and through PPC both. But what we neglect to do is these other things. We're not really focused on establishing that relevancy of products that are related to ours, or categories that are related to ours or are relevant for us, or brands that are relative to us and are related to us. So you can accelerate the algorithm's association with your product by very quickly in the life cycle creating product targeting ads, category targeting ads, and brand targeting ads. Because if you do that, you are basically training the algorithm. You're allowing it to establish these invisible connections faster. And let's say if someone does purchase from you from one of those ads, then it kind of reinforces it, just seals it, right? It makes it clear to Amazon that yes, this product is related to this product. So you can basically just design that experience by kind of forcing it by voluntarily creating ads of all these types, like touch all of these ad types early on in your life cycle when you launch a product. So I think one of the questions, I mean, there was a few different questions that people had asked, but one of the questions was, when I launch a new product, which ad type should I run, right? So the mentality is, and I'll tell you what the mentality is and what I do, right? So the mentality is that, okay, I'm going to start with an auto campaign, then I'm going to harvest keyword from there, and then I'm going to create a manual campaign from there, and then I will see, if I want to create other types of campaigns. That's where you slow things down, because in the first kind of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, the algorithm is giving you benefit of the doubt. It's also called the honeymoon period. Nobody actually knows how long that honeymoon period is, but we know that Amazon does give us a little bit of preference or a benefit of the doubt when we've just launched our product. So why waste that time, right? So what I do is, when I launch products, I generally launch with at least 20 to 30 campaigns. And you might be like, oh, that's a lot. And where will the money come from? Yeah, totally understandable. But the thing is that when you allocate budgets to different campaigns, it does not mean that those budgets will get used up. What makes things go through the roof and makes you lose money is your bid, not your budget. Your budget is okay. Your budget is not equal to spend. It doesn't mean that if you allocate $20 a day for a campaign, that you're going to spend $20. That's a misconception that a lot of people have. So what you could do there is that you keep your bids low, and then you spread yourself out across all these different campaign types, so that you can establish, or so that you can help Amazon establish those connections faster. Right. And so once that's happened, your job is done. You're kind of helping even the organic association of your product with other products. So you kind of show up wherever they're showing up, even organically, you're associated. Right. So this is a very powerful way to kind of training the algorithm by creating more than one ad type right in the beginning when you're launching your products. Okay, and then the final point I have is about how much data we have, right? We're just so lucky that we're living in this age where online data, online shopping, e-commerce data is available to us so easily, right? Gone are the days of like just billboard type of advertising where you put an ad and then you hope for the best. You don't know. You don't get any feedback from a billboard, right? You will maybe measure it somehow a couple of months down the line that, people who saw that billboard might have, purchased our products. And so you kind of see a lift in your overall sales, but there's no one-to-one connection in a billboard type of system. Whereas on Amazon, you have the opposite of that. You get too much data. You get data like right when you launch a campaign. Within a few hours, you will see how many impressions you got, how many clicks you got. Well, that information is for us to kind of jump on quickly, because wherever you see momentum, you want to reward that with more with let's say increasing your bids or improving the budget a little bit, so that you encourage that momentum and don't curtail it. So having access to all that data is actually fantastic, because it lets you kind of train the algorithm. It helps you to react faster. It's almost like a feedback loop that's almost real time, although it's not almost. You need at least 12 hours before data actually settles in, and then another 24 to 48 hours before the attribution data starts to come in. But still, it is way faster. So I'm often surprised by how few people actually look at their conversion rates on the organic side of things. So, the unit session percentage, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I know a few people that I've worked with in the audience, we work on the unit session percentage numbers, and we look at, how well is this product converting organically? Does it have any potential for scaling with PPC, or is it that I first need to fix my organic conversion rate and then tackle PPC? So that's a very important thing. I think there was recently I had a mastermind where someone was asking, their PPC isn't working, they're trying their best, but nothing is moving. Every time they increase their bid, they have a bunch of clicks and then nothing happens. And so I happened to ask them what their conversion rate was on the organic side, and it was pretty low, right? So when an organic conversion rate is so low, it basically means that all the traffic you send to that page, to your page, doesn't convert into sales, right? So if you know from the start that your organic conversion rate is, let's say, 1% or 2%, what does that mean? It means that out of 100 people that you will send to your page, only 2 of them will actually buy from you, right? So that's the way you calculate conversion rate. How many sales divided by how many clicks. Now, on the organic side, it's still okay. It's not hurting you because Amazon might send 100 people to your page, and of that, maybe just 2 people bought your stuff. But when it comes to PPC, it hurts because you're sending 100 clicks and each click might cost you $1. So you're spending $100 sending all that traffic to your page and then only 2 people buy. And if, let's say, your product price is like $20 or $30 or something low like that, then there's no hope for recovering, and then your PPC just starts to bleed, right? So the key to making sure that your PPC is successful is to first make sure that you also have a good conversion rate. Now, that might be a catch-22 when you're just launching, right? Because then you don't have a conversion rate regardless, right? So in that case, you would do other things like invest in your brand initially, making all the things that we talked about today, such as making sure that you're mimicking the big brands, you're coming across as a established seller, you're coming, because trust is so important, right? You should look trustworthy. A lot of people say, what is it? Features tell, benefits sell, right? That's a pretty common statement we hear. But I've just added one more element to that, which is, but at the end of the day, it's trust that wins. Because if you cannot establish trust, or if you cannot come across as being a reliable, trustworthy brand, then people might wander about on your listing and say, this other listing looks better, or it's cheaper, and it's just a few dollars down, but they'll leave you. There's no loyalty that way. So you've got to make your first impression, and for that you need to look at your data, and you need to see what the data is telling you, right? So we constantly compare our business reports and our advertising reports, and we see what the story is, what the story actually is hidden in the numbers. I'm also surprised that people don't use brand analytics enough. It is a huge, amazingly huge database of gems. It is basically the data that Amazon gives you, or gives brands that are registered, about all the keywords that are important on Amazon, that are being searched on Amazon. And they also tell you things like who are the top 3 highest clicked products for that keyword. Or which are the top 3 most converted for products for that keyword during that time frame. So this is really valuable information that we actually start our keyword research from brand analytics. We start with, okay, what are the different variants of this keyword, so that I can start to use those variants in my listing, in maybe the right places, in the head of your title, in prominent places on your bullet points, and so on. So brand analytics has so much data. One mistake I've seen that people make with their brand analytics is when they're researching, they put too many strings in their searches. So that will that's going to be restricting in the sense that you probably won't get the maximum number of keywords that you could be able to research. So I recommend starting with the seed keywords on brand analytics, and let the results guide you as to which variant of that keyword are most popular and has the highest kind of search frequency rank. So that's the way I normally do it. So just to give you an example, if you had what would be a good example? Okay, so something like let's say beachwear, right? Beachwear might be a word that you're searching, and it might kind of restrict the ordering of the word. It could even restrict the searches that you might be able to find. But if you just put the word beach and search on that, you'll be surprised how many variants or variations of keywords you can discover by having the shortest possible kind of seed keyword in there for searching. And then you can iterate on that, right? You can do one search with beach, you can do another search with wear or swim, like really short keywords, short tail keywords. And then it gives you a whole list, and then you can kind of arrange that and do your keyword research from there. Other tools I use, Merchant Words, Helium 10, Jungle Scout. There's so many ways to find out and to do kind of keyword research. And, just being on top of the game by really understanding how these tools actually work might be really worth it, in terms of coming up with a strategy for how to go after certain keywords, which keywords to index for, how many keywords you're indexed for, and things like that. So being obsessed with data is actually your opportunity. It wasn't available to us in the past. It is. And so it's really up to us to kind of use that information to our advantage. So that's kind of the summary of the opportunities that I see, and I'm really excited about every single day with PPC. So at this point, I just want to switch to you guys' question, because I know that 181 people actually took the effort to kind of put in your survey responses. So I would like to kind of pick a few questions and try to answer them. So let me go with
actually, sorry to interrupt. So actually, we had over 199. I mean, we had some more last minute registrations as well. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it's so excited. Yeah, and the thing is that the theme that came across was really, that thing of like, I don't like PPC. That was the biggest kind of overwhelming message that I read from your question. So anyway, let's look at a few questions. So I'm going to take the first one, which is quite, I guess a lot of people have this thinking, do we stop PPC if there are enough organic sales, right? So I'm trying to understand the psychology of behind the question, right? There is I guess there is an innate desire to want to stop PPC at some point, right? That's probably where this person is coming from. They want to say that, okay, I don't want to spend more money. At some point, I want to just be able to say, okay, let the organic sales do their job, and I can now stop my PPC, right? So I just want to give you the bad news, that you won't be able to stop your PPC, because that's what Amazon has become. It is a pay to play platform, and the faster you can reconcile with that idea, and the faster you can get good about your PPC, the better it would be for you, because it's very hard to get visibility. Given that the first page of Amazon is so crowded with all kinds of distractions, that your organic never actually even maybe shows up on page one. So I'm going to give you an example here just to showcase what I'm trying to say here. Give me just a second. All right. Okay, so this is so this is a live page on Amazon right now. So I've just typed the keyword knife, and I'm just going to go down this page to show you what shows up from the top to bottom. So yeah, this is an ad, right? This thing up at the top is a sponsored brand ad with 3 products, right? So that's one ad. Then, of course, you have this, which is a video ad, and it is, again, very prominent. I mean, at this point, if someone really wants a knife, they'll be like, ooh, let me check this out. It looks so pretty, right? They might just get distracted, and there goes your organic listing. It's probably buried deep down. But let me say, okay, maybe this person didn't go ahead, right? They weren't impressed by the sharpness of this knife, and they, let's say, went down, right? What do they see next? They see editorial recommendations, one whole entire carousel just for editorial recommendations, which is not even, it's neither organic nor is that an ad. It is just an editorial recommendation that takes up so much room. And this is not it. There's more. There is more on the right. So if they decide that they need an editorial recommendation to make their choice, they can just go down this rabbit hole, and that's the end of your keyword knife for you, right? But then let's scroll down a little bit more, and then you see another section which says top rated from our brands. This is Amazon promoting its own brands, right? They have a bunch of brands. So they are promoting their own brands right here at the top. And again, this is about 8 products right here that are from their brand. So at this point, where is the space for the organic listing? I don't see it. Scroll on further. Well, now you see the first organic listing. So this is position number 1. And this is what everybody's fighting for, to be shown on this spot, right? It's going to get more and more competitive going forward. You probably have more and more ads on this page. If you just do a Control F or a Command F if you're on a Mac and just type sponsored, you'll see how many ads there are on this page. So there's 12 ads right now. It shows the count here. 12 ads, but then you also have the editorial, and then you also have the top rated from our brands. So basically, the whole page is kind of taken up, and there is very little room left for organic. Yeah, and then as you go further down, there's more kind of sponsored ads kind of mixed in with everything else. So I guess the better question to ask would be that how do we maximize the results or maximize the effectiveness of our PPC, so that if you have really effective PPC ads running with a favorable ACoS, then what's the problem? There's no problem, right? So you've just got to master that the art of running PPC, so that you can generate not only PPC sales, but it can also help you establish organic relevancy for those keywords. How do we establish organic relevancy for keywords? Initially by helping the algorithm, by training it, by paying for it. When we pay for a keyword like knife, and let's say there was a sale from that keyword, then knife becomes associated with your product. So you're buying the relevancy, you're buying visibility to be on top of your page. And that over time translates into organic relevancy, which is good for you because Amazon will show your ad or show your listing even without you paying for it. Okay, next question. So this was another kind of typical one, which is, do we target long tail keywords? Like if you have a long tail keyword like stainless steel, knife, sharp, or something like that, it's a pretty long tail keyword. Or should we target a highly competitive main keyword like knife, just knife, right? So which of these two approaches should we take, right? So again, trying to kind of deconstruct the question and try to see what this person might have had in their mind. The idea that they're probably going after is better chance of succeeding, meaning cheaper, right? Which means that because it's a long tail keyword and it is, you can have more control over exact matches. There's this belief that if it's an exact match long tail keyword, that you can win it cheaply. And on the other hand, a highly competitive main keyword like knife, it would be expensive, right? And that is true. It is true that knife would be probably at this point maybe going for $3 or $4 a click, perhaps, and a long tail keyword might be available for, I don't know, $1, less than that, whatever. Now, the thing is that you can't just do one or the other. You've got to do both, right? You've got to go after long tail and you've got to go after the short tail. But the trick is to bid correctly. You don't want to bid too high on the short tail keyword because obviously that short tail keyword will attract a lot of impressions and therefore will also attract a lot of clicks. And so when you have a ton of clicks and you're also bidding high, then that just eats up your budget, right? So that's where the inefficiency comes into play. So you want to definitely target the short tail keywords, but keep the bids low. That's the trick. And the long tail keywords, of course, you want to go after them if they're relevant. You want to go after them for sure. So using a blend of both and being smart about the bids that you bid on them. Okay, third question: how long to run automatic campaigns for? So again, now I will try to deconstruct this a little bit. The belief is that an automatic campaign needs to be run for a short period of time, after which its purpose is served, and therefore I can get rid of it, right? Maybe that's the psychology behind this question. So again, I want to just clarify that, automatic campaigns have gotten better and better over time. And there's a lot you can do with automatic campaigns, and they can run really profitably. A lot of my automatic campaigns are the most profitable ones, and so I do not turn them off, especially when they are running well. I don't do any of that stuff. I let it run. If it's showing me promise, I will not kill it. I will let it run. And of course, you can use automatic campaigns for harvesting new keywords, right? You can obviously do that. But the smart way of using automatic campaigns is to split them out into 4. Like you have the 4 targeting groups, right? You have close match, you have loose match, you have substitutes, you have complements. Each of those targeting groups actually goes after different targets. 2 of them go after keyword targets, 2 of them go after product targets, and you need all of those. You need the close matches and the loose matches. But if you split them out, you can bid accordingly, and you can also budget accordingly. Because if you don't budget separately for each of these types as separate campaigns, you have no control over where the budget ends up. It might end up in the worst performing one of the 4 if you leave them intact. So I guess what I want to say is that as long as you've optimized your auto campaigns by splitting them up and having like 4 of them running in parallel, you should be able to manage your bids. And you can also manage through negative keywords if there is any really incorrect keyword that keeps resulting in clicks and no sales. You can do all of that management much better. So I guess again, it's the question to ask would probably be how to run automatic campaigns more efficiently, right? So that would probably make up for any reason you might have to stop them, because there is no reason to stop an automatic campaign. It can coexist, just like we talked in the earlier examples, that having a diversified ad portfolio can actually help you, not harm you. And one of the placements that automatic campaigns gets, for example, on deal pages or some of these, they show automatic campaigns in placements that we can't reach with other ad types. So just remember that and just keep that in mind. If you do want to show up, let's say you're running a deal of the day or lightning campaign or any of those things, then your automatic campaign will actually show up in really good placements, and you want to take advantage of that and not try to kill it on your own. All right.
Ritu, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to let you know we have about 6 minutes left. I know that we want to leave some time to talk about the opportunity for people that want to learn more as well.
Yeah. Okay. So how about we wrap up at this point? I know there's so many questions. We can keep going on and on. So let me transition back to you. Thank you so much for I got so passionate about it. So go ahead, Gary.
I know, we can tell. I mean, we can talk like, not just 1 hour, but probably like 20 hours on this topic. I mean, you can go so deep into this, but So did you want to wrap up, and then we can talk about the additional training? Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm going to wrap up with the questions because there's a few more. And I just want to say that, if you guys, found whatever we discussed today helpful, and if it's helping you kind of break through certain mindsets that, are going to have been kind of hardened by whatever you've read and so on, then we do have an opportunity for you to kind of learn PPC from the ground up. So I'm just going to skip a few slides and just go straight to, the announcement of a course that we're actually about to run. And then I'm just going to explain who this course is for, and then what we're going to cover in the course, so that if you're interested, then you can sign up, and we're going to be giving out details on that. So what is this course we're talking about? We're going to run a course over 3 weeks, and it's going to be 2 hours per week, and so it's a 6-hour course, intensive PPC workshop, where it's for people who have just started selling on Amazon and want to know the nuts and bolts of Amazon PPC. Or you probably know the basics of PPC, but you have this hate relationship with it, or you don't understand it. Or let's say you're outsourcing your PPC to somebody like an agency or something, but you're not happy with the results and you want to kind of take it back, and you don't know how to do it yourself. So this might be a good time to kind of refresh. Or if you're just not seeing results with your PPC, or you're struggling to improve your ACOS, or you're planning to launch new products and want to learn how to launch with PPC. And you want to just learn about winning strategies to succeed on Amazon with advertising, then this course is for you. Right. And then I'm just going to give you an outline of what the course is, how we're going to run it. So we're going to have 3 days. So day 1, day 2, and day 3. So day 1 is fundamentals, where we're going to be talking about all the different ad types, how to set up an auto campaign, and we dive deep into like match types, broad phrase exact match, and so on. We'll talk about bids and budgets and all the nuts and bolts of, all that sort of stuff for campaign setup. And then the day 2 will be about campaign management. Like how do you, basically you learn how to kind of efficiently manage the design of a campaign, how to set up manual campaigns, how to negate keywords, stuff like that. And on day 3, because no campaign management is complete without understanding the data, we're going to be focusing on the data. So we'll be seeing how we can troubleshoot the funnel, which means to troubleshoot the PPC funnel by looking at your data and all the different metrics, and see how we can interpret that and improve your campaign's performance. So the KPIs, that we always look at, we'll look at them very closely. And we're going to be talking about ad type diversification with all the different ad types that are available on Amazon, all the different opportunities that we have, including like video, sponsored brands, category targeting, all that good stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of the summary of the 3-day workshop, conducted over 3 separate days, and starting soon next week.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for this awesome training today, guys. And I thought that this is very valuable, but at the same time, there's so much more we can cover. And I know that over 199 people submitted questions, and this is kind of like the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion. What Ritu covered today. That's why I thought it would be great to help a lot of you guys that want to make an investment to dive deep to learn more about PPC, because a lot of sellers say Amazon today, it's a pay-to-play game, right? Amazon PPC is getting more and more important, and you can see that it's important not only when you first launch, but you don't just like turn it off, right? I mean, it's part of a diversification, like a portfolio of different strategies that you have, so you can sustain and you can grow your Amazon business. That's why I highly recommend this is a live 3-week workshop on PPC. So Ritu is going to walk you through from the start, the fundamentals, the different types of ads. I know I saw a lot of questions in the chat about the different ad types, how you can show up on your competitors' ads, and Ritu is going to walk through all of that live with you guys in this training, and you can check it out on the URL. And someone says the link says the page cannot be found. Let me double check the link and get that to you guys. It's 8020sourcing.com/PPC workshop. So that's where you can learn more, and I'll put the link on as well. Okay, so it will be a 3-week live training for people that, so this way Ritu can walk you through this live, you can ask questions, and then the cool part is it's very interactive. So after every week, you'll get homework and you'll start your campaigns, or you'll optimize your campaigns, and then you can bring questions for the next class. So it's not just one and done. So if you do want to learn more, definitely check out the URL 8020sourcing.com/ppc-workshop. And then I typed it in the link, in the chat. And as a special bonus for those of you guys that attended live, we're going to offer $50 off if you join by tonight, 12 midnight Pacific time. Okay. So just wanted to thank you again, Ritu. I know we're out of time. Do you have a couple more minutes in case anyone has any questions about PPC or the workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for you guys.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let me just see. Do we have any more questions? All right. The link works well in the description. Thank you. Okay. If you have any. Yes. So for the workshop, if you're not available to attend on a given date, yes, we will have the recording and we will have the replay, so you can view it later. And Ritu, can they also submit questions if they didn't attend live for the following week?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Great. Yeah. So Charles, if you can't make it live, you can still join, and you can also participate that way. All right. So I think we had some. Do we have any earlier questions? Jackie had a good question. What percentage do you put aside for product advertising, say for a product that costs $40? What do you think, Ritu?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So, first of all, you want to know what your break-even ACoS is. And, the break-even ACoS will guide you as to how much of that margin you can afford to spend on advertising. Now, when you launch a product new, you're probably going to have to be okay with going above your break-even ACoS for a bit. And then you can start to kind of taper that off. But generally, I've seen that in the first month or two, you could maybe even hit 100% ACoS, but then you can, because you've established the relevancy of important keywords or products that are related to your product, you will start to see an improvement, and you will start to gain those clicks for cheaper. And so you will be spending less over time. So I think the first thing would be to start with your break even and look at how much of that you can afford to spend, and then maybe even going up to 100% of that in the first couple of months, month and a half or so, and then start to go after or converge on your ideal break even ACoS.
Perfect. All right. So we hope that helps, Jackie. All right. So we're just about out of time, guys. So I hope that the training has been helpful today. These top 5 game changers in PPC. And if you do want to learn more, definitely check out the additional workshop that Ritu will be offering. And then I will be joining on the workshop as well to help facilitate and also to learn more as well, because I want to learn from an expert like Ritu. That's why I invited her on. All right. So I'll just share the link again with you guys. So if you do want to join, definitely we have the early bird $50 off. That helps with the PPC budget as well. So that's great. So just some quick shout outs again. Pachedu, thank you. Well done, Ritu and Gary, for putting on this together. Wow. Wendy says, yes, that works. Rory says, thank you, Ritu and Gary. Very helpful. Thank you, Ron. Wendy says, thanks, Gary and Ritu. Great. Easy Gary from New York City says, thank you both as usual. RBS says, thank you. Charles says, thank you both. Great webinar. And there we go. So definitely, I highly encourage you guys to check it out if you're interested in learning more. And then with that, Ritu, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to working together with you. And Thank you, everybody. Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you, guys. Yep. Awesome. Have a great
Excellent.
rest of your day. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, guys, for coming, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.